and he put on a phenomenal performance for the Western Kings. They were outshot basically on a 2-1 margin, and he kept them in the game right up until the Maple Leafs took the lead. But no fault of his, of course. But tonight, Lucas Park's going to have to do exactly the same thing when you have guys like Goss, Seymour, Nick French, Alex French. Those guys put the puck in the net, and he's going to be called upon to make some tremendous saves, that's for sure.
I was watching the game as it played just before this, and he just played absolutely phenomenal in this game. Do you think that Park is going to be able to uphold to that standard?
Oh, Park should be able to do so. Lucas has been a phenomenal goalie right from novice age, Adam age. He's one of those goalies, the O2s, that he's a strong goalie in that particular year for sure.
So what do you think the coach is now saying to these players? Because if you have Western Kings, if they lose this game, now they're essentially out of it. They're down 3-1 if they lose here tonight. And it's a must-win for the Maple Leafs if they want to stay at home ice and win this series in Mount
For
Pearl.
the Western Kings, you see on your screen there now, number 97, Andrew Anto. I mean, Andrew Anto is one of those players. He was the top scorer in the Major Midget League this year, and they need more from him. Last night, he was on the ice, and he did play fairly well, but they need him to step up and get those goals that he's gotten all year. Strong performer, strong player, but he just has to come through in this game and in the next one and make that the regular season count as well as the playoffs.
Andrew Anto scoring 27 goals and 57 points. He had an absolutely phenomenal season as he was a point-per-game player. And it's going to really be interesting to see as we go through these playoffs. And as we take a look at some of the Maple Leafs on the other end.
Well, you can see this guy right here, number 18, Nick French. He was a difference maker last night. That line, Nick French, McCarthy, and his brother Alex French, they were the strongest line on the ice for the Maple Leafs last night. And Nick French scoring that pivotal second goal, which was the shorthanded goal the Western Kings had the power play, and he scored a phenomenal shorthanded goal that tied the game up for the Leafs, and they rode that momentum into their third goal and took the game with an empty netter as well.
Certainly that French line is really going to have to step up as they've been stepping up all throughout the series. They're going to have to play extra hard tonight as this is a huge game. This could really tie up the series and send this one back to Corner Brook, where we'll have that, like I said, next week on Rogers TV. And I'm really excited to see some of these players as we'll take a look at some of the Maple Leafs, and they're just out there performing really hard. I've seen them warming up all throughout the concourse of this, and they were running around, and they really feel excited, and they feel hyped and pumped up to win this game.
Yeah, and they should. I mean, last night's game was a tremendous victory for the St. John's Maple Leafs. I mean, they were down 2-1 at one point in the third period, and that power play that Western had where they scored a shorthanded goal just turned the momentum around for the St. John's Maple Leafs. For those guys to come out and put that goal in, especially the work that was done down low by Nick French. I mean, I can't really tell you how big that was, because the work that was put in there and the momentum change that happened with that goal, it's just a phenomenal play by French and a big game changer for the St. John's Maple Leafs.
You talked about momentum. Now the Leafs have won 2 straight games, and they got 2 straight wins in this in the past 2 years.
That's right.
Do you think that's going to be a huge, difficult challenge for this Western team?
Well, I mean, Western Kings were 30-2, and they lost 2 games all year. 1 game to the Maple Leafs, 1 game to the East Coast Blizzard. I mean, these guys know how to win hockey games. And there's no way that they can come into this thinking that the St. John's Maple Leafs are going to win this game. They have to make sure that they're ready to go as soon as that puck is dropped. As for St. John's, I mean, yep, they've won the last 2 games, and to be quite honest with you, the first game was one of those games that could have went for the St. John's Maple Leafs. It was an overtime game, and actually they were losing 4-1 in that particular game, came back to tie it up with 40 seconds left in the third period, and they lost in double overtime. So, I mean, if that goes the other way, you're talking about a 3-0 lead for the St. John's Maple Leafs, and this is game 4 with a chance for them to take the series. But Western knows that they can come out and they can turn it on when they can. I mean, with a 30-2 record, and they had the top goal scorer, they had the top goalie in the league, they had the top defenseman in the league, and their coach was voted top coach in the league. These guys know how to win. They should be able to go out and put together a great performance here tonight. The first 10-15 minutes will tell the tale in this particular game. If they come out and they're flat and they don't skate very well and they take penalties, then it might be a long night for the Western Kings. But if they can compose themselves, if they can go hard in the first 10 minutes, not take any penalties, get a goal or two, not get behind, then things could go very well for Western tonight.
We talked a little bit in the pregame before we went on air about the Western and taking penalties, as you talked about how they can't be taking penalties. How big do you think that is, that they took a lot of penalties last night?
Yeah, and I was talking to Coach Robinson before the game, Coach Cornick and Coach Peach, and that was a big thing for the Western Kings last night. Just taking those penalties and having to kill all that time. It was a 5-minute penalty. There was a 4-minute penalty. I mean, that's in the first period. That's 9 minutes of penalties in the first period. And that tires out your penalty killers. That tires out your power play. The same guys that are on the power play and on the penalty kill, these are guys that are required to perform for the Western Kings on a nightly basis. Not only do they are they out there a lot, but these are the ones that need to put the puck in the net for them in order to win and to play defensively. So you're killing those particular penalties all the time. You're going to get tired. Mental lapses are going to come into play, and you're going to you're not going to play at your best. So that is a tremendous thing tonight for Western. Can they stay out of the box? Can they play a game which allows them to be aggressive, be on the ice and to hit the Leafs, but not to go into the box at the same time? Because if they do, that St. John's Maple Leaf power play is lethal, I can tell you that.
To further enhance that point, so do you think that the Maple Leafs are really going to take advantage of this now as we go through this hockey game? As we've seen a Western team, I was watching some of the replays before this game and some of the highlights, and I did watch the game, and it was a really physical game. Do you think that we're going to see something like this, even though Western did kind of learn their lesson last night?
Well, it really depends. Like I know that Coach Robinson is telling his team that it has to be very careful because referees are told to ref the game in certain ways, and we talked last night about concussions and headshots, and you have to be very careful of that. Now, there are some things that get called that are not penalties, and some things that don't get called that are penalties, and there's a balance between everything. You have to be aggressive. You have to try to play the same way you played all year that made you successful. But if things, it depends on how adaptable they are. If they can adapt to the way the game is being refereed, if they can adapt to the way the St. John's Maple Leafs are playing in their particular game and how Coach Oates wants them to play, then Western could be successful. But time will tell. I mean, they have to play on the ice, they have to perform, and we'll see what happens in the next 60 minutes or so.
So the refereeing must be up to a high standard in some of these games. Do you think that the coach is going to definitely tell his players about this, as it was a physical game? Do you think the referees learned their lesson from last night, that they can't just let these things slide?
Oh, well, the referees made sure that teams knew that last night. It was plays that Western made that were definitely penalties. There were plays that St. John's made that were definitely penalties. The referees are the arbitrators out there. They're the ones who have to make sure that the game is played at a certain level. They have to make sure that the game is played safe by the players. They're not going to let anything go that could harm players. They want to make sure that they say, this is what is a penalty. This is how my game is going to go. This is how we're going to call the game. Teams have to adapt to that no matter what.
It's going to be interesting with all these this physical contact that we've seen throughout this, and I know we have a few referees up in the stands that would like to be out there and reffing the game and supporting one side. Do you think that's going to be a big momentum factor for the referees as they go through?
No, I don't think so. I mean, I know enough referees in today's game. My son, both my sons have played hockey. My oldest son's a referee actually, and they're told that when you are out there, you don't listen to anything. If somebody says something to you, you make sure you take care of it. Referees are in this particular level, especially at the major midget level, they know what they're doing. They are trained very well. They're not going to take anything from the fans. They're not going to take anything from the players. They'll call it as they see it, and people have to be dealing with that as they can.
I want to change gears for one quick second, as the Maple Leafs, they are on home ice, and they do have, like I said, they have the crowd on their back, and they're out there and they've been just playing well. They were out in Corner Brook playing some of their games. Do you think it's going to be hard for them to play as they can see the end result?
Well, I mean,
even the same for the Kings.
Yeah, but I don't think Coach Oates and Coach White and Coach Thompson are going to. They'll have them even keeled. They'll be saying to them, this is the next game. Don't get too far ahead. Don't look down to what could happen. You have to come out and play your game, the same game you played last night, the same game you played in Corner Brook on Sunday, and even the same game they played from the third period on in the first game. Because I'll be quite honest with you, Western Kings haven't looked good in playing against the St. John's Maple Leafs at those times. The St. John's has had the momentum. Like I said, if the first two periods in the Corner Brook go a different way, I mean, we could be talking about tonight's game being the game that wraps it up. But we're not. Western pulled it out in the overtime period, and now we're looking at a 2-1 deficit. And so Western is really going to have to come out and play hard, play fast, but play within the rules and not take too many penalties. And that is going to be the key thing. I can tell you that.
So the momentum is going to be a big shift here in this hockey game as we go along, and it's going to be fun to see it with all these players. The Toronto Maple Leafs do have the momentum, and you think it's going to be really hard for Western to take that away from the Leafs, as like I said before, they've won 2 straight?
No, I think the game is, every game is a different game. Like, there is momentum, but you're talking about something from 24 hours ago. Western has had time to dissect the game, has had time to sleep on it, and being on the road is kind of an advantage as well, because the team gets in a hotel, coaches can control what they do, coaches can control who comes around, when they have their supper, when they go to do different things. So sometimes it's better to be on the road. St. John's Maple Leafs are here today. They're at home, but of course, they're staying in their houses. They're talking to their parents. They're talking to their siblings. It could be a case of, they got a little bit of momentum last night. Maybe they get too far ahead of themselves. But time will tell, like I said before.
So we're obviously going to see a big change in the Western style of play as we go through. Like you said, the coach is going to be a lot more strict as they approach into this game. They slept in a hotel last night. And do you think that's really going to be the big key, even though they're on the road?
Well, I think that coaches having control of them on the road is a big thing. They don't have the distractions. They're not going to go upstairs and play their PS4. They don't have their PS4 here. They're not going to be able to do that. So they're just focusing on the game and focusing on Coach Robinson, telling them what they need to do to win this game. I'm not saying that Western's going to win this game, obviously, but I think that's going to go a long way to decide the outcome of this particular match tonight.
For sure, and now all the Western players are starting to enter the ice as they've entered first, and you get to hear a little roar from the crowd. So it's definitely going to be fun to see them as they go along, and captaincy is really going to have to really lead the charge here, and definitely the goaltending, like you said, and it's going to have to be really tight from the beginning to the end with this Maple Leaf team. And like I said, tomorrow we'll be on at 10 a.m. We'll be live here from the Glacier once again, and I'll be here, and so will Corey, as we'll see this team go ahead for game number 5 now, and this is game number 4 here. We've seen game number 3 prior to this, as that played last night, and we also seen the Toronto Maple Leafs as they went against the St. John's Caps. And that was a really fun game, and you can be sure to tune in for our Out of the Fog Toronto Maple Leafs alumni special with host Jason Piercy, as they will have that 7:30 on Tuesday, and they'll be on our Facebook Live account and our www.rogerstv.com.
The Leafs would like to thank our many sponsors. Without your support, our game would not be possible.
You see Regan Seymour going to the bench. He's going to be key for the St. John's Maple Leafs tonight as well.
Please rise and remove your hats.
So they're going to throw it to the anthem. We'll stand by. Game number 4 is live from the Glacier in Mount Pearl as we get ready for this game. I'm Zach Power alongside with Corey Donchermont as both these teams are looking for a W here tonight. It's 2-1 for the Leafs in this series, and it's going to be a really fun game to see as we take a look at our starting goaltenders for the Leafs. We're going to see Fisher there as he's just been playing absolutely phenomenal as he gets the nod from his coach there. And like you said before in this game, Chris, he's going to have to really step up. And again, on the other side, it's going to be Park at number 31 as, like you said before, Park is really going to have to step up and he's going to have to be the difference maker for his team tonight.
Yeah, Lucas has been in this situation before. He knows how to play this game. He can be there for his teammates. He knows what needs to be done. I'm more interested to see what happens tonight with Anto, Anderson, and Legg. These guys really need to step up for Western.
Opening face-off is at center ice as we get ready for game number 4 here on Rogers TV. As the fans are starting to roar and sticks are starting to clap as we're underway. As it's recollected there and it's sent into the defensive zone there for the Kings as they'll dump it in and along, and Osmond will have to play it for the Leafs in his own end. And a very fast and physical start here. From the point, it's Drake with a long drive. That one couldn't be collected in on goal, and it's recollected there at the point, and they'll have to restart as Robinson. Picked up there by the Leafs as they're moving on in, trying to get through his brothers, and he couldn't get that one on goal. The rebound is there, and that one couldn't be got past the goaltender there. One more time, it's the Kings as they'll flip it out and long, and the Leafs will have to start away with it.
You see Norman going back for the puck now. Norman's one of those players as well on the defensive end for the Maple Leafs. There's going to have a strong game for them tonight as well for them to be successful.
In through the neutral zone, it's collected there by the St. John's Maple Leafs, and they'll dump that out and long. Henley is out to play it for the Leafs as he'll crisscross it to the other side, and it'll be dumped in along, and now here comes French. French trying to move in and trying to drop past it to his brother, but he wasn't home, and now Greenham can't collect it, and now the brother Alex French will have to start away in the offensive zone now as it's called down, and there's going to be a penalty. It's going to be a cross-checking call.
Cross-checking call on Nick French. Western Kings getting a chance at getting some momentum here early in the game. That was a heavy play there by French, just trying to make the play to get the puck, but he got a little bit too aggressive with the stick and made that cross-checking motion. And of course, once you do that, referees see cross-check, they're going to call that each and every time.
Face-off right outside the bench of the Western Kings. As it's cleared in behind the goal, and now they'll have to start away. They're moving in through center. It's picked up there by Anto, the leading scorer. Dumps it in and along, and it'll be recollected into the corner by Henley, and he'll swat it all the way down the length of the ice where Park will have to play it. Robinson has it now. He's moving it in forward, and it'll be sent into the neutral zone where Anto will have it now as he's making some nice moves with a drive, and that one just went off the glove there of Fisher. At the blue line, another drive, and that one went wide of the goal, and now the Kings will keep it in. Anto on his knees now as he brings that one in forward, and one more time it's picked up there by the Kings as they're moving it on in. Played in around the side of the boards, they're taking bumps there. As it's played into the corner now.
That's Braden Ryan in the corner. Braden Ryan, he's an intelligent player, knows how to play this game, taking an opportunity to try to get that puck in there deep.
Ryan couldn't collect it off his stick. Played in around where it's Robinson one more time. And it's recollected there by the Leafs, by the near boards. The far boards rather, and that one hit off the roof.
Now that's a hard thing to do in the Glacier because the roof in this particular building is pretty high.
That was labeled there for the sky.
But I'm kind of interested to see what happened there. It was a good pressure there by the Kings in the first minute, 20 seconds of that particular power play. Let's see if they can keep it going.
Thomas is in the draw, and he wins it back on the power play. And another shot there by Genge, and that one stopped there by Fisher.
Malcolm Genge, number 6 on the Western Kings. He locks a lot of minutes for the Western Kings on that back end. Coach expects a lot from him. Same with Anderson. Anderson will be out there a lot. You'll hear his name tonight.
Face-off coming in the blocker side of Fisher, and it's won there by the Kings as they'll take a drive, and that one went off the pad. The rebound, and that one couldn't be collected in on goal. One more time, it's brought in at the point, and the Leafs will just get it outside the blue line where the Well, they'll have to start away with it. Now it's Seymour now off the turnover. Seymour's going to circle around and bring it back to his defensive partner.
That's a smart play by Seymour to kill off some time in this power play.
Norman moving it around. It'll be dumped in behind the goal, or it'll be stopped there by Park. And now the Kings will have to move away. Here they go as they're moving it in through the neutral zone. It's Cormack now. As he comes in with a drive, and that one went off a skate and wide. Genge one more time. That one couldn't be collected in on goal. Picked up there into the corner by Ward, and he'll flip it around, and the Leafs will have to dump it all the way down the length of the ice.
Icing there against the St. John's Maple Leafs. Not a bad power play for the Western Kings, although they didn't score. They did establish some zone time that they were hard to get zone time last night. So that might be a reflection of a couple things, just trying to play heavy, but also listen to their coach and getting in there and making sure that they're hard on that puck every shift.
Off the draw, it's one there by the Kings. That one got tipped up in front, and that one couldn't be brought in on goal. French will play it up for his brother, and that'll be sent back to the back end where the defense of the Leafs will start away, and it's cleared down. French battling in for it. He'll play it into the corner where it's Alex French passing it off to brother Nick. Nick playing it off, and it's picked up there by the Kings as they're moving on in with it. As they'll set in through the neutral zone. It'll be sent all the way down the length of the ice, but that'll be called down on icing.
You see number 8, Mason Campbell. Mason Campbell is an alternate player for the Kings, but last night Coach Robinson really counted on him to lock some heavy minutes. I guess Coach Robinson was looking at seeing who was playing well, and Mason Campbell did play a great game last night, and I'm sure that he's going to be called upon again tonight. Even though he's an AP player, that doesn't matter in these games. What matters is performance.
He's had great chemistry out there on ice, and he's been playing well so far tonight. We'll see if he does well again tonight. Goss around the corner, played in along as he took a tumble, and it's sent out, and that's a souvenir for some young fans.
Well, the Maple Leafs are trying to get zone time, trying to establish some position down there. These two teams are pretty hard hitters. You know, you have brothers Seymour and Goss out there right now, and you're talking about the top line for the Leafs all year. These guys are pretty strong guys, playing against the Antle line here now as well.
Antle and Seymour in the draw, and Seymour comes away with now a shot off the face-off, and that one went right into the chest where Park will smother for a face-off.
And you'll see a lot of play after the whistle as well, in front, especially in front of both goalies. None of the teams are going to want the other teams to establish any position there and to make anything hard for their goalie, so they're definitely going to be pushing and shoving after each whistle.
Recollected at the point there by the Leafs and a long drive, and that one got tipped up and it hit the netting, and that will stop for a face-off.
Yeah, that face-off is going to come outside. It was a nice tip there by Seymour. Seymour tried to make that deflection, but it's just a little high and over the goalie and over the net as well. So far, kind of feeling out process from what I can see. The Leafs and the Kings are just trying to, take their time, see what happens here tonight, and just get pucks deep.
Duty, Knight, and Martell are all out there. Brandon Knight and Chris Martell are all teammates, and they're actually go to the same school in O'Donnell and Mount Pearl, as they're just a stone's throw away. As the Leafs will regain control, it'll be moved in and forward. Sent it along, and now the Western Kings will have to start away with it. That's Robinson trying to flip it in forward, and that one was unavailable as the Leafs will intercept. Robinson takes his man into the boards, and the Leafs will clear it out and long over the red line. Park plays it off, and now the Western Kings will have to start away in their own zone. Will move it on forward is Robinson, as he'll move it up, and he'll send it to Thomas as it'll be cleared in. Behind the goal is Fisher. He plays in and along as Duty. Duty knocks his man down. Oh, what a destroying hit there, as he really took down Thomas. Here comes the Western Kings. They'll have to start away in the neutral zone as they had to tag up. Moving on in with it, trying to get that one on goal is Ward. And now another drive, and that one tipped out in front. The rebound is loose, and they couldn't get that one off the side of the goal, and it's swatted away there by Fisher. One more time, it's recollected now here the hash marks. At the point now, they're starting away with it is the Kings. Played into the corner one more time where they'll move it around. Stepped in and one more time, it's at the neutral zone where Parsons will have to play it. Parsons regains the pass one more time. He moves in forward with it. He'll dump it in all the way down, and that one hit off the stick of the goaltender Fisher, and he'll hang on.
Some interesting plays here just then. one of the things that I know Western's going to try to do all game is that they're going to try to put pucks to the net each and every time they get an opportunity, looking for rebounds, looking for tips, looking for anything that they can get some momentum on. And tonight, it seems like all the pucks that they have are being thrown to the net as soon as they get them.
5:54 left to go into this first period, rather, and about 14 minutes left to go. The shots on goal are 4-1 for the Kings. Played in at the blue line where it'll be stopped there, and long shovel out there by the Leafs, and now the Kings will have to start away with it in their own zone. They're moving it around, this one by Oak. Here comes the Kings in their own zone as they're stepping in and forward. It'll be dumped in along the line and it'll be moved right around the goal. Mason Campbell couldn't collect a stick on it now, and it's one more time picked up there by Goss. Goss splitting it in forward, and French is unable to beat the icing.
Talking to the coaches before the game, both teams actually. For the Western Kings, Coach Robinson, Coach Cornick, Coach Peach, they basically want the guys to try to get the up-tempo play here tonight. They want to be able to get the forecheck, an established forecheck in the offensive zone, and try to limit the neutral zone plays to the St. John's Maple Leafs as well.
Kings at the line, they'll take a shot. That one went wide of the goal. One more time, it's collected there by Genge, and that will go out, that hit off the netting, and that will stop the play.
But of course, the biggest thing that the coaches talked about for the Western Kings tonight was discipline. Discipline. And one of the things that they really have to do is make sure that they don't get in that penalty box. You can't overstate it enough about the power play for the St. John's Maple Leafs and their offensive abilities.
French and Anto in the draw, and Anto will win it. Played in behind the goal, it's Osmond, and he'll clear it out for McCarthy. McCarthy playing around now, and here comes another shot there by the Kings. The rebound, and Anto couldn't collect it. One more time with a drive, and that one went wide of the goal. Leafs will start away with it. It's Osmond now, flipping it ahead, and now here comes the Maple Leafs as they'll get knocked into the boards, and now French is out to play it. For brother Nick rather, as he'll try to collect it to Alex, but that was unavailable. Playing it around in his own zone is Norman for the Maple Leafs in number 14 as they'll move it along in. And here they go, it's Osmond. Osmond trying to split through the defense. That was unsuccessful, and it'll be cleared in along there by Smith.
And again, we see Western throwing the pucks to the net. Western really wants to be able to do that, but they'll have to try to make sure it makes it difficult for Michael Fisher. Michael Fisher is a solid goalie, played for St. John's Maple Leafs, but also plays for Holy Heart of Mary, and Holy Heart of Mary have won the last two St. John's championships for the high school league.
Holy Heart, we've seen them in the Confederation Cup on Rogers TV. And we'll see them again in the Beaumont, because that'll be coming up in mid-April on Rogers TV as well.
Well, there's a difference tonight of shots on net. Last night, at about the 10-minute mark, shots on net were 10-0 for the St. John's Maple Leafs. Tonight, so far, 11:59 left in the first period. The shots are 6-2 now for Western Kings. Not saying they're dominating the game, but at least tonight they're getting shots to the net, and they're getting opportunities that they didn't get in the first 10 minutes the night before.
Quick line change for the Leafs as they'll try to start away in the offensive zone, as it's recollected there by the Kings as they'll win the faceoff. And around the goal, and they'll play it in and back. It's Brothers now. Brothers with a long drive, and that one went off the glass. One more time, it's played in around, and it'll be sent down all the way down the length of the ice. It'll be picked up there by the Maple Leafs, and they'll have to move in. Whoa, and a dirty hit into the corner. As taking a tumble is a few Western players.
Yeah, I believe Braden Ryan lost his footing there. There's a trip.
And now there's going to be a penalty coming up on that trip as Goss will move it in. Here comes Goss as he's trying to step it in through, and it'll be smothered there by Park.
Yeah, Mason Campbell takes the tripping penalty. He tried to back check there, but his stick got caught up into the skates of Brothers, I believe, and he's going to be going to the box for 2 minutes. We'll see what kind of pressure now Maple Leafs get here on this particular power play. We see French, McCarthy, and Knight out there with Osmond and Grenham. This line has been pretty powerful in the playoffs on the power play, and I can't see it being any different now. We'll see how much zone time they can gather.
You mentioned about the pressure of the Leafs in that last game, and They really capitalized last night. Let's see if they'll do it here as they'll take a shot from the point as Greenham. That's blocked there by Anto. It'll be sent. No, it'll be kept in at the line there as Osmond will collect it. He's open and he'll try to take a shot, but he fanned on it. Now to the other side, another drive there by Greenham. That would off the pad there of Park. Greenham one more time, trying to spit it in forward. He'll get Knight and it'll be played into the corner by McCarthy. Played in for Greenham one more time at the point. Sends it forward now for Knight and he'll move it on in. He'll send it in behind the goal. He's trying to look for someone to pass to, and he couldn't collect it tonight. To Osmond, rather. But Osmond will collect it now. Other side for Greenham, the assistant captain. Now trying to move it out in front there, but it was blocked there at the line, and now it will be sent all the way down the length of the ice.
First minute of the power play. Lots of puck movement and no shots. This is going to be critical now to see if they can't get in and get a few shots on the net.
Flipped in ahead where it'll be recollected in behind the goal as McCarthy takes a bump into the corner.
And the puck was tied up on the boards and the ref just made the whistle there. So we have 10 minutes and 11 seconds left here in the first period. 50 seconds left in the power play. And so far the Western Kings are doing a pretty good job of killing this power play opportunity by the St. John's Maple Leafs. It's going to be critical for them to do so all game, not just this particular power play, but each power play that they get. Of course, you know, notwithstanding the fact that that's how you're going to win the game.
Leafs starting away in their own zone. They'll move it into the offensive zone with a burst of speed as Norman in number 14. He'll dump it in and long, and it'll be sent in around for the Kings to play it, and it'll be sent all the way down the length of the ice by Robinson, and out to play it is goaltender Fisher for Henley. 9:47 left to go in this first period. 25 seconds left to go in the power play opportunity for the Leafs. As they'll move it in along, it's Henley. He'll send it forward for Goss. Goss moving it in, putting on the brakes, sending it back to the point now. Now split ahead to the other side for Norman, where he'll dump it in and long. Seymour in behind the goal trying to play it, and now it'll be sent all the way down by the Kings as they'll get it on the second or third swat. So we're down to full strength action here in the Glacier and Mount Pearl as you're watching a live broadcast of the Midget AAA hockey tournament, and this is game number 4. The Leafs are leading the series 2-1. Campbell playing it along. French couldn't get a glove on it, and it'll be sent back to the neutral zone where the Leafs will dump it in. Parsons at the point with a drive, and that one went right into the chest.
That save was a lot harder than it looked, actually, because of the knuckling motion. He didn't get all that particular puck, and that knuckleball went in there, and Lucas Park, being the baseball player that he is, because he does play, he played on the Newfoundland baseball team as well, the under-15 team, I believe, along with Alex French on the St. John's Maple Leafs. Gloves that one out of the air.
That was a nice little stag out by the glove there as that one went right into the chest, and he was quick to smother that. Here comes the Kings as they're moving it on in, and Parsons will have to intercept. Duty playing it in forward. Genge couldn't get on it, and it was a dirty play, and now there's a little bit physical in front of the benches.
Offside. Genge stepped up on Duty there to make sure the puck didn't get out. Caught him with a half a body anyway, and made sure that Duty couldn't move forward there. So far, so good for the Western Kings. A little bit better than last night, of course, with all the penalties that they got. So far, they've been able to stay out of the box, and their lines are getting turned over as they should be.
French wins the draw. It's Martel passing it over for Parsons. As the Maple Leafs have started to really step up here in this last few minutes, they've gotten a bit of puck control time, but not many shots on goal. Flynn will dump it into the far corner. As Campbell will have to get a stick on it. He can't swat it away. And now one more time it's picked up there by the Kings as Ryan will move it in. Flipped ahead there by Campbell, right in on goal for Fisher, where Fisher has made a lot of saves, but he hasn't had any real shots on goal. A lot of them have been dumping chases.
No, that's true. Both these teams limited their shots throughout the year. If you're looking at number 1 and number 2 and shots against for both teams.
A long swat down there by Park, and the play is called.
It's called. Lucas Park put the stick up in the air. He high stick the puck, and when the defenseman touched it, whistle goes automatically. With the Western Kings had 800 shots throughout the year in 32 games. So that averages about 24, 25 shots a game, which is pretty good. St. John's Maple Leafs has about 840 shots throughout the year, averages about 25, 26 shots. So these guys know how to play defense and know how to keep the shots down to a minimum.
A lot of them has been jumping and chasing around this game so far, as the shots on goal are 8-4 in favor of the Western Kings, as they'll try to start away with it. Now Anto couldn't get a stick on it, and it's recollected there by the Maple Leafs as they'll move it on in. One more time, it's McCarthy, and Norman will step in and through. Here comes Norman, a long drive, that one stopped and held for a face-off.
Park looked behind him a little bit there. That kind of handcuffed him on his blocker side, but he did manage to keep the play there. We're looking here now, just at a replay there of that particular shot. You can see he kind of went down to his right side, make sure that he snagged that puck and keep it out of the net. 7:14 left in the first period, and we're pretty even here so far in this particular period.
It's been really a fun game to watch, and it's just been a thriller. This whole series has been a thriller, a seesaw series to say the least. Anderson couldn't get a stick on it, legs pressuring, and it's Oak with a long drive, and that one played in on the offsides.
Offside there, and they're going to bring the face-off back to the dot in front of the Western Kings end. Not really sure why they do that, because it wasn't an intentional offside, but I guess the referee or the linesman saw it a little bit differently.
Seymour's in the draw, and he'll win the face-off there for the Leafs, as Greenham will clear it out long. Park playing it with the big goal stick, and they'll have to start away as the Kings, as they'll take a breather. And now they'll go up with a small burst of speed, and they'll be flipped in ahead. Now here comes Smith. Smith into the neutral zone, trying to split the defense, but that was unsuccessful. And it'll be flipped down there by the Kings. Greenham in behind the goals. 6:35 left to go in period number 1. The shots on goal are 8-5 for the Kings. Here comes the Maple Leafs as they're moving it in forward. And now it's Seymour trying to get ahead for Brothers, but he couldn't keep his stick on the ice. And now Brothers will have to collect it one more time. It's Goss right out in the slot area, and that one could be collected past the goaltender Park.
You see number 98 on the ice there, Brett Eason. Brett Eason playing this year for the Western Kings. A few years ago, Brett Eason was a member of the Tricom Thunder Bantam AAA team. He lived in St. John's, but he moved to Corner Brook a few years ago, and now is a member of the Western Kings. Didn't play in the game last night. I'm not sure why. Not sure if he was suspended or if it was the coach's decision, but he's out there tonight. That's a big body for the Western Kings.
He's been playing phenomenal so far throughout this season, and I know I've seen him a few times, and when he's out there, he plays really good, and that's a really solid pickup there for the Western Kings. Intercepted there by the Kings, and that will be dumped in along for Parsons. Behind Michael Fisher is Parsons, and Duty will try to play it. It'll be sent into the neutral zone. Will be a long dump in there by Campbell, and the Leafs will have to move again one more time in their own zone. Leafs trying to spring it forward for Duty, and it'll be swatted down by the Kings as they weren't able to get a stick on it. Western Kings and the St. John's Maple Leafs are deadlocked at zeros. 5:30 left to go in the first period.
I'd say Western Kings are doing a really good job of forechecking here, keeping at least pinned into their zone.
Campbell with a drive. That one is unavailable. One more time, Campbell will pick it up there. He'll dump it in behind the goal, and the Leafs will have to start away as they'll regain control. Martel flipping it across the other side to the captain, and it'll be dumped in all the way down the length of the ice, and that will be called down on an icing.
So for tonight's game for the Western Kings, Skylar Coates is not playing tonight. Skylar was out of the game in the first period last night because of a tremendous hit that he put on Jenkins. Jenkins is not in the game as well. Jenkins suffered an injury on that particular play, and both those guys are unavailable for the game tonight.
Anto wins the draw for the Kings. They try to get that one on goal, but that was blocked there by the defense of the Leafs. One more time, it's French as he takes a dive, and now I think there's going to be a call from the referee on the far end of the ice.
I believe so. There's a tripping penalty here to Western on that particular play. Tripping on against Alex French. See who's going to the box here now. I believe that's Noah Legg, number 79. Or maybe it's Kornick, I'm not sure. No, it's Kornick. So Kornick's in the box for 2 minutes here. You see the trip there. So it's on Nick French. Just, a play where you don't really need to put your stick in there. If you can't get the body, then you put your stick in the guy's skates, and he's going to fall over. And, that's going to be a problem if they're going to keep doing that, because the referee's going to call that each and every time.
That's 2 penalties now for the Western Kings, as we might see a repeat of last night if they keep taking more penalties like this. And that was certainly an unnecessary penalty to take. 4:56 left to go in period number 1. So the face-off's going to come up blocker side the park, and the Leafs win it. It's Norman. Norman waiting. The other side, a shot, and that one got tipped up in front there. One more time, it's played around. McCarthy got a nice stick on it there for the tip. And French plays it along as he's moving into the corner. As it's whipped around there, and the Leafs will have to start away. Back to the point, it's Osmond leaving it along, and it'll be played into the corner for McCarthy. McCarthy battling hard into the corner. French will play it one more time. Played it along by Osmond now for French. French waiting, and now tries to get it out in front there with a centering pass. That one went right through the goal mouth area. Collected there at the line, and it'll be brought out by the Kings. Norman moving it forward, and now it's French there for the Leafs. French putting on the brakes. He's looking for the pass. He'll get it back to his defensive partner. Now it's Osmond leaving across for Norman. Osmond with it one time, and that one got blocked up in front. Norman couldn't keep it in at the line. It'll be sent all the way down the length of the ice.
Western getting a change in while they can. The defensemen were out there for almost 1 minute and 20 seconds of that particular kill there at that time.
St. John's Maple Leafs got 5 shots on goal and 8 for the Western Kings. As the Leafs are on the power play for another 37 seconds, they'll be sent down to the neutral zone where they'll have to play it. Osmond crisscrossing, having the tag up for the offside. It's Osmond one more time as he collects the pass there. Brothers tries to flip it to the other side. Couldn't get it to Henley, but he'll get it now. Henley now tip out in front there. That one just went wide of the goal. What an opportunity that could have been. One more time is played into the corner by Seymour. Seymour with a drive, and that one got tipped out in front. And a huge hit into the corner, and that's going to be a call.
That might be an ejection here for Goss.
Greenham touches up, and there's the call.
Oh, he's calling a boarding. He's not calling checking from behind. Sometimes that's an arbitrary call. You get a boarding call. Sometimes you get a checking from behind. Referee's discretion at whether they call that or not. Depending on which way the player is. If he's turned a certain way, they'll call that a checking from behind penalty. But in that case, the referee saw that he was a little bit to the side, didn't get him fully from the back, so it's a boarding call. Sometimes you get away with it, sometimes you don't.
It's really important with the checking from behind. A lot of these players actually have the stop signs on their back, which I think is one of the greatest inventions ever. And they do have them on the corners of the boards where you see a lot of physical action.
A lot of times players don't see those stop signs.
We've seen a lot of head injuries and concussions, as you talked a lot about last night, as it's been a really dangerous thing that has gone around these hockey games. Western Kings controlling. They're on the power play. Sent in the other side by Robinson, and now another drive, and that one couldn't be collected on goal by Entel, and it'll be flipped out by the Leafs. Playing it along is Robinson. As Entel will have it for the Kings, as they'll be knocked into the offensive zone territory where the Leafs will have to play it. It's Osmond trying to flip it in forward. Now back to the point one more time. Collected there with Entel with a drive, and that one got blocked up in front, and he's down. He's slow to get up, and he's just barely getting up, and he's hurt. Trying to put a lot of weight on that stick. He's not moving a lot. That really stung.
Trying to play through it. He's getting to the bench there now. They'll get the change in.
What a shot block there as Hill collected it. And that was French, who took an awesome block. You don't see a lot of them like that, sacrificing the body to make the play.
That's what it takes to win these games. If you want to get there, I mean, there's a trip to the Atlantic's on the line here for both these teams.
A lot of these scouts are watching a lot of these games too, because these are the biggest games that you'll see. And like you said, the Atlantics are on the line, and it's big for the Maple Leafs if they want to go through to the Q, as the Q draft is coming up for a lot of these players. Back to the point, it's the Kings. They're moving on in. It's now at the side of the boards, and Genge will pick it up. Genge trying to flip it to the other side. That was unavailable. One more time, trying to get it out in front again. Another big save there off the glove. And Fisher will hang on.
1:02 left in the first period. There's 8 seconds left in the power play. Between the first and second intermissions today, we're going to have Glenn Littlejohn back with us. Glenn was with me last night. He did the color raw, did the play-by-play, and we're going to talk to Glenn a little bit about the Major Midget League and initiatives that they have going forward for next season.
Recollected there by the Kings, and that's only 55 seconds away, and we'll show you some highlights, and we'll be talking to Glenn. Played into the corner where it's whipped around there. Duty will recollect it there in his own zone. Here comes Duty. He's flipping it in and forward, and now it's sent in along there by McCarthy, and it'll be stopped in at the line. And icing call here.
Yeah, the pass was just a little off there. We tried to make that stretch pass for a chance for a breakaway, but it was off, just off to the left of him, and had went all the ways for an icing.
It almost looked like it was going to be offside, Stu, if he did collect it.
Well, he would have had to skate for it for sure. It definitely would have been an offside. Yeah, but 36 seconds left now to face off down to Lucas Park's left. Chance for the Leafs now to get some zone time here at the end of the period.
Norman from the point, whipping it around. It's Dyer, and it's moved in along there by Seymour. Seymour playing in around the boards. His ankles pressuring in there. Osmond with a drive from the point, and that one went off the stick. No pressure there. Collected there by the Leafs along the western bench, and a drive there that was low and went right into the pad of Park. 10.7 seconds left to go in this first period, and the shots are 10-6 in favor of the Western Kings.
St. John's trying to get those shots through. I mean, 6 shots this particular period. They have had attempts. They've missed on either side. Key is going to get those shots to the net and get the goalies moving from side to side.
In this best of 7 series, the Leafs are leading the series 2-1 as 2 seconds and 1 will count down. And that's the end of the second period of action. As we're going to take a look at some highlights here on Rogers TV, as we'll be back with Glenn as he's going to talk about the minor hockey Midget AAA and their initiatives right after this on Rogers TV.
Corey, terminate.
All right, we are back here. We're in the booth here now with Glenn Littlejohn, president of the Newfoundland Labrador Major Midget Hockey League. Glenn, thanks for joining us.
Thanks, Corey.
That was good. It was nice working with you last night as well.
Yeah, well, it was a great bit of fun.
It was. Glenn, we're here now with you to talk a little bit about the league.
Yep.
We had a successful year this year.
We did.
There was lots of good
change.
A lot of change.
A lot of change, Corey. And just to jump on that, we're the only provincial hockey league in the province, right? We have teams coast to coast. Western, the Central Ice Pack, the Trypan Osprey, the Blizzard, and the Leafs here in the city. And we're the only provincial hockey league in the province right now, representing all of the province.
Yes, and that carries with it, of course, its own problems with the distance that teams have to travel, getting games in on the weekends, snow days, and things like that. But even with those things being said, it was a successful year. So what kind of things is the league looking at and building off of this year going into next year?
Well, Corey, as you know, we're a brand new executive. We got elected last June, and there are all kinds of things. But one of the things we did this year, we met with every team. We met with every parent, the parents of every team, and we went to their rink. We were in Corner Brook, we were in Lewisport, we were in the Ghouls for the Blizzard, we were here at the Glacier, we were in Harbour Grace for Trypan. And it's a year that the executive has taken to build relationships. And not only relationships with the parents and the teams and their executive, but we went to Moncton. And when we went to Moncton, we had what we call a Monctonian mug-up, and we brought in the Q League. And we had over 15 scouts in the room that morning. We had over 50 people in the room representing various Q teams. And we think when we left, there was only one Q team that wasn't represented. So we've been building relationships this year with our teams, with the leagues that our teams are interested in. We've reached out to the Maritime Junior A League. We've done some work with the private schools. So there's been a lot of relationship building going on this year.
Yes, and one of the things, Zach, that is big in this particular league is players who go from bantam and graduate from bantam, going to midget team at midget age, and then going away and playing it up in the Maritimes and in the New England. And this is the kind of thing that I know the executive is looking at, trying to keep teams around.
It's a huge transition.
It's a big transition, Zach, and one of the things that we're trying to do is exposure. You know, our teams do go to the Monctonian and the Ice Jam in Halifax, but one of the issues we've heard throughout the league when we were doing our parent meetings is about exposure. And having the playoffs televised and live streamed is part of the old exposure piece, and hopefully we can build on this relationship with Rogers next year, and that we can do regular season games. And that way, some of the parents who think their players got to go away for more exposure or better competition will realize that you can get that competition here at home. And we believe our league is good, and we believe you can get good competition. You can improve your skills here at home playing with one of our 5 major midget teams.
Sorry, one last thing, I guess, before we get back to the game, in terms of the competition and the exposure, what are some of the initiatives that you guys are looking at next year to get those guys down here looking at those players?
Well, one of the things we're looking at, we're in the very early stages of having a showcase next year. We're looking at either the first or second week in December, I'm sorry. Looking at the first or second week of December for a showcase tournament, and it won't only be our major midget teams, it will be our AAA bantam teams as well. We were told when we were in Moncton that that's something the scouts would be interested in, and that we're trying to organize for early in December next year. We'll let you get back to the action. Maybe we'll talk between second and third.
We can. We'll do that. Thank you very much, Glenn.
Take care.
Excellent. Thank you so much. As we're underway in this second period of action, I'd like to thank Glenn for coming up and talking to us for a little bit, as both teams have changed sides in this second period. As we get ready for this, it's 10-6 are the shots on goal, and the Leafs are looking to try to change the story of shots on goal throughout this second period, as they're moving it along in, and it's sent in through the neutral zone, where it'll be collected there, and it'll be sent all the way down where Fisher will play it. He'll send it in forward, where it'll be played along there by the Leafs as they're moving on in. It's Seymour. Seymour trying to step it in through, and it's sent in along. Seymour battling into the corner. It's Antle trying to play it there for the Western Kings. They'll move it in along, and it's picked up there one more time as they're moving it around early into the stages of the second period of action. Norman now stopping it at the point, trying to send it to the other side of the goal, but Goss could only get a stick on it as he'll go for a change now. McCarthy stepping in and through. as he'll start away in his own zone. He's moving it around. He'll try to get it forward. Maple Leafs controlling in the neutral zone, as getting a stick on it now is Ward as he's moving it in. Getting a shot in on goal, and that one just rang off the post. My goodness, what an opportunity that could have been. Now the Leafs are starting away in their own zone as they're moving it along. It's Alex French. French moving it in, getting one hand on that stick and trying to get it on goal, and the net's knocked off its moorings and stopped for a whistle.
Well, it's a frantic start to the second period, back and forth there. I mean, that shot went off the post. That's the closest as anybody's come to scoring in this particular game so far. I'd like to let everybody know that we had to kind of cut our interview off with Glenn Littlejohn, but we'll try to pick it up again between the second and third periods towards from the middle to the end of the period there.
As the face-off's going to come up here at the offside zone, and we've seen a lot of pressure, which we haven't seen a lot of in this hockey game in the second period rather, as a lot of it was just dump and chases, and no one really wanted to move the puck in and go for a skate with it, and now we're seeing that a lot more, and the pressure has gotten a little higher.
And you're going to see that from this particular time on. And the shot was deflected there and over the net. You're going to see that now because that's second period, 0-0 game. Both teams, the feeling out process is kind of done now. These guys are trying to get goals and trying to make sure that they can be successful in this game. You'll see a lot of quick plays and a lot of movement through the neutral zone.
Teams are starting to get a little bit more comfortable out on this ice as they've played a full 20 minutes, and they've certainly turned on the Jets here so far as Knight loses the draw there for the Leafs. It'll be sent around where the Kings will have to start away, and it'll be dumped in all the way down the length of the ice, and that will be called down on an icing.
Just a pass gone astray there. The game is picked up here now in the second period, as you said. The teams are trying to go end-to-end, trying to get that first goal. Whoever gets the first goal is going to be important. You know, as the game goes on, it continues to be 0-0. These guys are going to get a little bit jittery, a little bit nervous, and things could change on a dime. Both coaches are trying to make sure that they get the guys out there that they want. Sometimes it might be a little bit late. That's why they have to bring those players back, see who's on the ice, and the referee make sure that they go back. As soon as the hand goes up, you can't make that change.
Now there's been a huge change in face-offs as Martel, Duty, and Knight all tried to go for that face-off draw as they kept swapping in and out, and now the defenseman took it. It's Henley now as he can't get a stick on it. Now it's picked up there by the Kings as they're moving it in. Martel playing it along, and Duty will have to recollect in his own zone. Here comes the Maple Leafs. It's Martel getting a stick on it, but it's intercepted there by Ryan for the Kings. Long shot in. That one went off the blocker there of goaltender Fisher. It's been a really fast game here in the second period, and it's going to be fun to see how this goes and pans out.
Yeah, it's going to be it's going to be interesting. It's going to see what happens here now with the speed and through, especially through the neutral zone. I believe this game is going to be won through the neutral zone. Whoever can stop the momentum going through the neutral zone into the offensive zone, these are the guys that are going to be successful at the end of these 60 minutes today.
We've seen a lot of neutral zone play so far throughout the first period and throughout the second period, where that's been the big difference maker here. As Seymour tries to get one on goal. That one went off the pad. The rebound, and that one's rang off the pad one more time. Goss with an excellent opportunity to score, and denied there by Park. Seymour recollects. He's on a 1-on-2 situation. Now Seymour breaks through. Here comes Seymour trying to get it on goal, and that one whipped off a stick. Another drive, and that one stopped there. And now a little get together after the fact. And
I think the Western player just took away his power play. We'll see what happens, see how the referee sorts this out.
we have a little.
I think we had a Leaf penalty for sure. There's the Western player going to the box as well, I do believe.
Goss looks like he's going to the box.
Brady Parsons as well.
So Goss and Parsons are both going to go to the box. And after that little get together in front of the net,
Yep.
they're calling a slash.
So it's going to be a St. John's Maple Leafs power play because the goaltender Lucas Park picks up a roughing penalty. It's a power play for the St. John's Maple Leafs here. a little bit in front of the net, and the goalie jumped in, tried to protect himself, I guess, or tried to make sure that these guys know that they can't come into his crease, but he ended up taking 2 minutes.
The 2 offsetting penalties there, and the 1 penalty there for the goaltender. As French will recollect, and he's on the power play. French trying to make a drop pass. He'll get to his assistant captain there for Greenham. Greenham waiting. Now sending it to the other side, French, and he couldn't get that one on goal. Osmond one more time. Back to the point, it's Greenham. Greenham waiting. He's got French open. Now the one-timer with a drive, and that one went wide of the goal. Osmond trying to knife it in forward, and Campbell will fork it in along.
You see the Leafs set up in your 1-3-1 power play, trying to get that defenseman to get a lane to get the shot through, and the 2 guys in front of the net for deflections.
French moving it along in the boards. He'll send it out, and it'll be sent in across for Osmond, but he couldn't get a stick on it. It was bouncing up and around. And it'll be sent all the way down the length of the ice as French couldn't get a stick on it.
Well, I'll be honest, I just saw there, it seems like the Leafs had 2 different power plays. There's a 1-3-1 when Goss, Seymour, and Brothers are on the ice, but when they put French and McCarthy or Knight out there, it seems that they go to a traditional power play.
Very strange coaching tactic, but nevertheless, and watch out! They come in with a shot and a beautiful save there.
Nice save by Fisher.
What an opportunity there for Ward to score. What a beautiful glove save there by Fisher to keep his team into the game on a breakaway almost there, as you'll see here on the replay.
Yeah, Ward had all kinds of time trying to pick that corner over Fisher's glove, but Fisher flashes the leather, denies him his chance.
Kings control off the draw. Another drive there from the point, and that one knocked off into the corner. It's Seymour now. He's playing it around, and the Leafs will have to start away in their own zone with 15-15 left to go in this second period and 30 seconds left to go on this penalty. Martel now moving it along. Henley at the point. Henley moving along. It's Norman. Norman crisscrossing it into the corner where it'll be Knight. Seymour playing it. Seymour circling. He's waiting, putting on the brakes. Norman wants a pass, and Norman won't get a pass as it's turned over and collected there by the Kings, and they'll dump it out long.
5 seconds left in the power play. It looks like the Western Kings will be successful in killing this penalty. It's a huge thing for the Western Kings.
Knight moving it in. Sent it along, and it'll be played in around there at the corner and the boards. Entel trying to get a stick on it, and there's Martel is pinned up against the boards for the Leafs. Norman stopping it at the line with his glove. Tipped into the offensive zone. Knight wants a pass, and he was right out in the slot. And he'll try to get it one more time, and he lost his stick as that shattered in front of him. Dyer now moving along, and it's a yard sale of broken sticks out in the Kings territory. Dyer moving it in and forward. One more time, it's played along by French. He gets to the other side, no drive, and they score! The Leafs are on the board first, and what a goal that was!
That's a big goal for the St. Charles Maple Leafs. I believe Austin Martin, number 21, their AP player, who's called up tonight for Jenkins, finishes off that play. That's what happens when you go to the net hard to speed. You finish off those particular chances. That's a big goal for St. John's Maple Leafs. 13:56 left in the second period.
What a pass across there as we've seen on our replay. My goodness, what an excellent feed there. And for him to pick that up and score on that.
Well, you see he entered the zone with speed. Nice pass across. The defenseman trying to intercept it, but no chance. Gets the puck into blocker side on Park.
Collected there as Martin will play it in along.
The key here now is to see how the Western Kings respond to that goal being scored against them. It's going to be, mentally, what kind of mental state will they be in now after that goal goes in when they had the opportunities in this particular game?
The Kings, they do lead in the shots. They have 4 more than the Leafs, and as the play is called down.
Puck is knocked down by a high stick, I do believe.
As with 13:21 left to go in this second period, it's 1-0 for the Leafs on the minor midget AAA hockey action. This is game number 4 here live from the Glacier. And we'll have games 6 and 7 from Corner Brook if necessary on Rogers TV. But nonetheless, tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. we'll be here and we'll be broadcasting game number 5, as that's a guarantee. And the Leafs could take home all the marbles if they win tonight and they win tomorrow morning. 10 a.m. start is 12 hours of rest is not a lot.
Well, let's hope that they won't go out for some Paddy's Day festivities.
These players are underage, and like you said, there won't be many parties for the Western Kings as they got to go back to a hotel room. But it's interesting to see now because the Leafs actually get to go home and they get to do what they want a little bit here. And yeah, they'll have adult supervision by their parents. I mean, that doesn't stop them from going out to a friend's house and to a party. Pass it across, couldn't be collected, it's Greenham. Goss trying to play it there, and he'll collect it at the line, but he's unable to keep that in. As Martel will flip it in forward, he wants to pass back. He won't get it back as Goss will collect. Seymour collects now. Here's Seymour as he tries to bust in through, and that one's called down. A little get together now.
Yeah, it was a shot taken after a whistle. Never a good idea to do that. Usually the referees will call that as a unsportsmanlike conduct penalty. You may see that. We're not sure what we're going to get here. Nope, no call.
It's a code in hockey that you don't take shots after the whistle. And the Leafs did there as they were upset with the call.
I'd like to give a shout out to former coach of St. John's Maple Leafs, Eddie Bartlett, who's watching the game up in Manitoba. He messaged me, he said I was famous, but I don't think that's the case. But Eddie, miss you down here on the rock, and maybe we'll see you this summer sometime.
Now there's a penalty up on the board.
Western penalty to Liam Smith. He kind of missed that one, didn't see what happened. See what the announcement is inside the stadium here now in a second. Call for knee.
Knee on knee is the call here as the Kings go to the box. Maple Leafs collecting it's Martel with a burst of speed. Knight takes a cross check there. No call, and
Glove
now the
pass.
place is called with a glove pass.
It was an interesting call there. I didn't see what happened. I know the shot was taken. I guess when he made that move at the blue line. Smith
And now
must have put
Knight's
out his knee.
upset as he punches the glass. He's clearly upset there, and he was not happy with that call. And it's hard to keep your emotions here as you have a lot on the line here, and you're playing for more than just the pride. It's a potential NHL career in the queue as well. Leafs in their own zone, it's Greenham. They'll start away with it. Greenham moving it along. Greenham trying to center it out in front there, but no one was home there to collect the pass. Goss now playing it along. He's got Osmond open, but he will bring it forward this time for McCarthy. McCarthy now moving it along. It's Osmond. As Goss will collect it one more time. McCarthy into the corner. McCarthy in behind the goal. There's going to be a penalty.
Western.
Now Western's going to go to the box one more time as they've taken a few penalties here, and this is going to be a 5-on-3.
Again, just going to the box for a cross check. Holding position, the Leaf player holding position in front of the goaltender, and that was McCarthy. And Gens cross-checked him to the ground. It was just waiting to happen because you could see the referee looking at the play in front of the net. As soon as McCarthy went down, the call, the arm went up, and the cross-check was called.
The Western Kings have taken a lot of penalties, and it's going to be hard for them to come back and score goals, to come back and gain a tie or a lead at that if they keep taking these penalties. Here comes the Leafs as they're moving it in. Back to the point, it's Greenham. He'll wait. Sent back along the sideboards. Greenham will collect one more time. He's waiting with it. Now sending the other side to Goss. And he tried the one-timer, but that was unavailable. Now here comes McCarthy now, spinning it around the side of the boards. Here comes the Leafs. Greenham with a drive. And that one got tipped up in front the wrong way by McCarthy. And now Greenham will pick it up one more time. Now one more time with Goss. Another try, and that one could be collected on goal. Greenham again, sending it around to the point. I'm trying to get to the other side for Norman, but he couldn't get a stick on it, but he'll pick it up. Norman, the other side, and that one couldn't be flipped in on goal. Norman again, sending it around the point. Another try there by Goss, and that was unsuccessful.
5-on-4 now.
57 seconds left to go in this man advantage. As Seymour moving it along, getting it to the other side. Norman with a drive. That one got blocked up in front. The rebound, they couldn't get that on goal. And down like a fish is Park there. And one more time, it's Greenham with a drive. They score! It's Greenham with the goal, and it's now a 2-0 lead.
And the whole power play, you could see it coming. Western was making block shots, but just could not get that puck out of their zone. Penalty was over for the 5-on-4, but they still ended up setting up, getting that opportunity from the top, from the top of the circle, and Granham made no mistake with that shot. Blocker side on Park.
It was a big screen in front of the net too, and I didn't think that was going to go through, as there was a load of bodies there. Anthel getting down so much as on his knees to try to play, and the patience there by Greenham to wait for the slide by Anthel to move out of the way is absolutely phenomenal, and that's great to see for Greenham as he takes a 2-0 lead here, and now there's going to be a timeout.
We have Western's taking timeout to regroup here. 2-0, make sure they calm down the players, make sure that they calm down on the bench themselves. It's going to be tough slog from 2-0 with 9:56 left in the second period. I mean, half the game is played now. You have Western really trying hard to stay out of the box, but just sometimes things don't happen the way you want them to happen. Opportunities arise for the St. John's Maple Leafs, and they capitalize on both chances they had so far. It's a bit of a different game than last night in terms of how the play has gone. It's kind of more of an even game tonight, the shots being 12-11. Well, Western is not getting their opportunities to get in on Fisher to get the shots through, simply because so far this period they ended up killing off so many penalties. And that's not the way you win games. They're just going to have to put their heads down, nose to the grindstone, and they're going to have to grind this game out for the next 30 minutes. For the St. John's Maple Leafs, keep doing what you're doing. Don't change anything. Keep moving forward. If you're successful with what you're doing here right now, you'll be successful at the end of the game as well.
Face-off's going to come up at center ice here. As off the draw, it's won there by the Kings. Now another try out in front there. I was listening to the goal call, and that was another opportunity for the Kings to score, and that's the first bit of pressure, and they are starting to feel the heat now as they're attacking hard. But the Leafs will gain control, and they'll move it along as brothers. Flipping it around, and it's collected there at the red line, and it'll be dumped in far by the Leafs. Now here comes Thomas as he's moving in on a 2-on-1. Thomas, the other side, and no, he couldn't get it through. Oh, what an opportunity that could have been. And now there's going to be another tripping call here.
Well, this one's going against St. John's Maple Leafs. No, if it'll be a trip, it'll be a cross-check.
A group of 2 or 3 players took a tumble into the corner there.
Cross-check it is.
Now the Leafs are going to have to sit for 2 minutes or less. That's by Norman.
You just saw the replay there, that pass there in front of the net with Thomas coming down. He made the pass just a little bit late. It was just a little bit behind his player, and opportunity was wasted there. 2-on-1 with a chance for a nice shot to the net, just couldn't get it. This is a critical power play here for Western Kings. If they have any, they want to have a chance and opportunity. They want to be successful right here.
Off the draws, one there by the Kings. They're moving it around side to side at the boards, at the point rather, as they're moving in and along. They're trying to move it in forward. Now another drive, and that one got blocked up in front, and it'll be sent all the way down to the neutral zone.
Goss made a nice play there to intercept that pass and cause a disturbance there for Western to try to gather that puck off. And he's doing the same thing.
Whoa, and he took a hip check there, and there's going to be a call. My goodness.
You know, sometimes you wonder. And I'm not sure about that particular call. He's going to give him a call for interference. I don't know sure where the puck was when that particular call was made. Let's see here. Oh, yeah, the puck was gone. That's a good call by the referee. Thanks for that replay up here, guys. But you can see the puck was behind him. If he had just played him and not laid that check, he probably would have got away with it. But because he put him head over heels, that's why that call was made.
Now the goaltender put his hands in the air during that call. His best impression of Patrick Waugh there, as he was clearly upset with his team taking a lot of penalties. And now here comes a breakaway. It's Brandon Knight moving in. Brandon Knight! Oh, and he just got robbed there by the glove. My goodness, Park. What an excellent save there on Brandon Knight. Osmond one more time. Recollected there by French with a drive. And that one went off the glove. Now it's collected in behind the goal there for the Kings, and they'll try to slow down the play, and now there's a hit there. Kings moving in with a burst of speed here on this 4-on-4 situation. More real estate per man.
Lots of room out there for these guys to move, these quick guys.
And now there's going to be another penalty coming up as the referee has his arms in the air.
Another penalty against Western.
Fisher's running to the bench. Man, he can skate fast. Here comes the Leafs as they're moving into the neutral zone. Seymour and an empty net call, and the play is called down.
It's an interference call here. I believe the call's going against Braden Ryan. Interference call on the wall there earlier.
Fisher giving out a few chirps to Braden Ryan as he shot the puck in after the whistles. Now it's twice.
The Western Kings fans are not too happy about these calls that are coming up against Western. Seems to be, you see the save there by Lucas Park. Just
what
a phenomenal
save.
Just a phenomenal, he had him beat, he just stretches back and gets the glove. Phenomenal save there by Lucas Park to reach back and make that save.
He had Park out on 4th Street and he had 6 feet of net to look at, and unfortunately he missed every bit of it. But nonetheless, it's a 4-on-3 power play for the Leafs as they'll try to gain this one back. Osmond crisscrossing the other side. Henley with a drive, and that one smothered there by the goaltender Park.
That's a nice positional save there by Lucas. Trying to just calm things down, just trying to make sure that those pucks hit them, they get face off, and they can get back to basics. Nice shot there by Henley. As we talked about last night, pretty smart kid in his own right. Up for a $100,000 scholarship, didn't get it, but you know, just being nominated for something like that is a great accomplishment for him.
Osmond now as we're into a 5-on-3 situation. As the Leafs are out of the box, it's Norman coming out. He'll go straight to the bench and McCarthy will change for him. And that one went right into the fans, and it'll be a souvenir as it just missed a few fans.
Yeah, he hit him, actually hit him. He's okay. He's got a Malpro Blades jacket on. He's fine.
Coming down in his hometown to catch this game with 7:04 left to go in the second period. The shots are now in favor of the Leafs as it's 13-12 as they've climbed back now and gotten ahead on the shot board. Osmond with a tip out in front now. The rebound is loose and that one's smothered, and now the play is called down.
Referees lost side of the puck. That's when they whistled that down. That was a nice save as well. I believe Park didn't see that until the last second. Flashed out the pad and made sure that kept the puck out of net. This is a critical situation here for the Western Kings. You 12 seconds left at 5-on-3, then you have about a minute left on that 5-on-4. They really can't get scored on here.
Ento loses the draw. It's the Leafs at the point. Greenham with a drive, and that one went wide of the goal. Goss couldn't collect his stick on it. Now it's Osmond. Osmond circling around. Osmond waiting, trying to get it to the other side. He can't get it there. Osmond again, and that one never even hit a stick there as he fanned on it. And Ento will clear it all the way down the length of the ice, and Fisher won't play it.
But the thing that's happening here is what Coach Robinson talked about before the game. They're killing so many penalties. Guys are not getting into the game. They're not getting any zone time. Not getting opportunities to score goals, and hope that may come back to bite them in the end.
Circling around are the Leafs. They're playing it along the boards, and now a dive there, and no call will be made. Greenham will regroup in his own end. Greenham one more time.
That's a nice play there by Graham, just to make sure that it keeps that puck in front of him.
Leafs are playing it along. It's Goss. Spitting it around, and they'll have to start away in their own zone of Leafs. It's dumped there, and there'll be no icing because of the power play. And now we're down to even strength now. Henley moving it at forward. Now it's Knight. Knight coming in with a drive, and that one went over the glove of Park. They'll be sent all the way down by the Kings, but now here comes the Kings down the other way. They're trying to move in with a shot, and that was unavailable there to get on goal by Anderson. Played into the corner. Anderson trying to get a stick on it one more time. Recollected there by Thomas as he's trying to play it in forward and try to get it on goal, but he couldn't. Martel battling for it, getting a stick on it is Knight, but not a full stick on it, and Henley will collect it. But now it's at the point there for the Kings. They're moving in and along. Sent in back to the point. Trying to get it to the other side. Now another drive. Now one went wide of the goal and up into the mesh.
I believe you're getting the penalty here on the Maple Leafs. Brandon Knight going to the penalty box. Not too happy about it. Telling the referee what he thinks is of his call. But he's not, referees have not changed his call. I don't know any referees that ever change their calls, even though the players say, no, I didn't do that.
Brandon Knight, who earlier punched the glass, he was visually upset, and then he was visually upset one more time when he missed on that breakaway opportunity. And now you can obviously see that he's fuming as he went to the box with his arms in the air.
This I'm talking all night about what's big for Western, big for Western. This is a big power play for Western. Really need to try to get some offense going, score a goal here, and go into the second intermission at least with a 1-goal disadvantage.
4:30 left to go in period number 2. 1:37 left to go in the penalty. Now here comes the Kings with a drive, and that one whistled wide over the goal. Again, playing it around the boards. They'll collect it. Now a centering pass out in front, but Anto couldn't get a stick on it. Played in around the boards, and it'll be tossed in at the line where the Kings will have to pick it up there by Ryan. Battling in behind the goals, Ryan. He'll flip it in and forward, and it'll be moved in and along. Trying to play this French. Anto intercepts and a drive, and that one went up and over. One more time, it's recollected there by the Kings. Another drive, and that one went wide of the goal. The rebound is loose, and they couldn't get there. Then rebound! Oh my goodness! I thought that almost went in there for a second as it crossed through the crease.
Puck was pinballing around there. It almost went in through Fisher's legs, but puck came out the other side.
Flynn battling forward into the corner for the Leafs. Anto trying to push forward. And now it's Robinson at the point, crossing it to the other side, and no, that one couldn't be collected in on goal. The rebound is there, but no.
Lots of sustained pressure here.
Robinson with a short drive. Oh my goodness, that one went just wide of the goal off. Moving out, as it was moving out in front there. Robinson, the captain, crisscrossing out to the other side with a drive. That one went out the back. The rebound, they score!
Thomas collecting the rebound, putting it in the net. That's what you're supposed to do. Just like I talked about earlier, it was a critical power play, and they score on it. 3:10 left in the second period. Now that is something that they needed. That's something that had to happen for the Western Kings in order for them to get even in this game. Even though they're not even on the scoreboard, at least now they feel that they're in this game. 2-0 lead for St. John's Maple Leafs, now down to 2-1.
You've seen it coming there with the high pressure there by the Kings, and they come away. It's Christopher Thomas getting the goal, and now it's a 1-goal hockey game, and now here comes the Kings, another drive. Oh my goodness, we almost had a tie game there. Thomas trying to swat it away. It's Goss into the corner. He's playing in the offensive zone. No, and almost got tipped out on his own goal. My goodness.
I didn't know which way he was shooting the puck that time.
Kings regaining control. They're moving in and along as Genge. Intercepted there by the Leafs. Another drive, they score! And now the Maple Leafs have come back. It's Regan Seymour.
And that goal there, when we see the replay, that goal happens on the half wall. Brady Parsons trying to make the play over the blue line, and he just couldn't get it out over the line. Just loses it at the line. Seymour gathers it up and beats Park over the glove. Nothing Park can do there. Seymour just walked down Main Street and rifles one over his glove hand side.
A lot of chirping going on around the penalty box area where players are just coming off of celebrating, and you see Norman and Eason chirping each other, and this has really been the story of the game, is a match of words throughout this game as both these teams are visually upset. And Knight's knocked out of the face-off, and you can see he's visually upset, and nothing has gone his way so far in this hockey game.
Well, Leafs responded with their own goal. Let's see how Western responds.
16-15 out of shots on goal for the Leafs as Western comes in, and a big cross-check there by Knight, and there's going to be a penalty. That's Knight's second penalty of the game.
It's a roughing call. He's not too happy about it again.
He's got his hands in the air, and he's shaking his head. He's not happy with that.
So, 2:16 left in this second period. 2-minute power play for the Western Kings. Once again, should I say it again? It's a big power play for the Western Kings. You get within 1 goal going into the intermission, 3-2. It's a lot better than being down by 2 goals.
The Leafs do have that insurance marker, but it's a big opportunity for the Kings to score, and they really need to capitalize on this. French knocking it out, and that will go all the way down the length of the ice. Kings playing it in through. That's Robinson. He'll go for a little skate with it now, but he'll move it in forward for the other Robinson there. As they're moving it out, trying to get it out in front again, but they couldn't get it there. One more time with the drive is Robinson, and that one went right onto the crest of Fisher.
Nice shot there by Kyle Robinson. Kyle Robinson, Lucas Robinson, both brothers, the sons of the coach, Coach Jeff Robinson. Boys are called on to play some big minutes, some heavy minutes for their team, and you'll see a lot. You'll be calling their name a lot in the next third period.
Ento wins the face-off as he tries to play it. As Robinson there at the point again. Now trying to get out in front. The rebound is loose. Oh, and down is Fisher. And they couldn't get that one in past the goal line. One more time, it's Robinson at the point. Robinson waiting for it. Now he's moving in, and that one went up and off a stick and into the netting. I want to give a little plug to our volunteers, as this couldn't be done without the work of our volunteers. I know we have 4 and 5 cameramen out there who are really working hard, and we got the guys in the truck there who are just phenomenal, and they are true all-stars out there, and they've just been rock stars throughout this weekend of hockey. If you want to join our volunteer, oh my goodness, and that one went out the post. And the net is knocked off its moorings, my goodness.
I think Western's looking for a call there when they knocked the net off. The puck was loose and they were about to shoot it back in. Then the net comes off. That was close. Western just has to keep throwing pucks to the net.
Anto wins the draw. Played in a round where it's moved in along. It'll be sent into the corner. Playing it now back to the point. It's Robinson with a drive, and he couldn't get that one on goal. One more time, it's whipped around the side of the boards. Western trying to get a goal here as they really want to get a 3-2 deficit here going into the intermission as opposed to a 3-1. And there's 1 minute left in this period. Playing it out is Park as they're moving it in. Here comes Western. They're trying to get in with a drive, and that one went right into the glove of Fisher.
45.4 seconds left in the second period. Western throwing all they can to the net, hoping for a rebound, hoping for that to squeak through Fisher. But Fisher's, he's played at this level now and for the last couple of years, high school or AAA, and he's going to have to take a nice shot to beat him for sure.
Face-off going to come up blocker side to Fisher, who's been playing great so far throughout this game. He's just been so fun to watch. Genge with a drive, and that one got blocked up in front there. And another try there, and that one could be swatted in on goal. Forked in back to the point now, Genge. He takes a long drive through the traffic, and that one couldn't be collected into the goal wickets. As Genge will have to start away with it in his own zone. 23 seconds left to go in period number 2. And we're just about back to even strength here as coming out of the box is Knight. Moving in back to the point is Cormack. And we're going to see a few highlights here, and then we're going to talk to Glenn once more in the second period. So I want to go straight into the highlights now as we're going to see some of these goals here. And we'll be back in a quick flash right here on Rogers TV.
There's the first one there. You see Thomas finishing off that rebound. There was a rebound. We talked about trying to get pucks and rebounds, and Thomas just steps in and finishes the play. It's that shot there by Seymour over the glove of Park. Lucas had absolutely no chance on that. But Seymour bearing down on him and made the water bottle pop. That's what they want to do every time. That's what goal scorers want to do. Here's that roughing play on Knight. As you can see, the puck was nowhere near the player and made that hit that caused the power play. And right there, see that? Norman knocks the net off. That's what the Western fans were talking about there. And here you see here, first goal here. Austin Martin finishing off a nice pass here by Nick French. And Austin with a phenomenal goal there, going hard to the net and beating Park blocker side. All right, we're back here now with Glenn Littlejohn. Glenn, thanks for joining us again. I guess we might have to call ourselves Three Musketeers by the time this is over.
By the time it's over, and the intensity picking up out there a little.
Yeah, it is. You can see Western is starting to realize with 2 goals down that things are getting interesting.
Yeah, and certainly picking up the pace and the intensity, a little more physical, and both teams playing very hard.
They are. Now, we were talking between the other intermissions, we're talking about the initiatives that the Major Midget League is trying to do. So let's just circle back to what we were talking about the tournament in December and trying to get getting the scouts to come down for the Bantams and for the midget teams.
Well, you know, Corey, we're in the very early preliminary stages of doing that, but that came out of our Moncton meeting with the Q and the scouts, and it's something they're interested in doing. It's something that we're interested in doing as a league to promote our league and bring the scouts here. You know, one of the things we've heard, and you know, Corey, you're a parent, one of the things we consistently hear is that our players or our teams are not being seen or don't have the same opportunities as teams on the mainland. So this is one way to offset some of that language and have a showcase tournament. They'll be interested, and we'll start in the first week of December, we hope, this year, and we can build on it.
Yes, I know, like for myself, and again, full disclosure, my son does play in this particular league with the East Coast Blizzard. We go to the Monktonian, we go to the Ice Jam. There's coverage there for all teams, but as we've been hearing from different people, and especially the people who are trying to get our kids to go away, is that your kid will be seen if you come up to the mainland. Your kid will be seen. Your kid will be seen.
And to face that, Corey, it's a good lead-in. You know, a lot of kids go away and they play at these private schools and all the rest, but they're not playing on full scholarship. You know, I was talking to a gentleman this year, was talking about one of the young players from our province went away, paid $41,000 and scored 3 goals. An expensive way to play hockey, and is our league cheap? No, and we've got to work on that too. There's a cost factor here as well, and you would know better than anybody that cost. But we're building a better relationship as well with Hockey Newfoundland and Labrador. We've been meeting with them and talking to them, and they've been very supportive of our efforts to do different things, and they've been a very good supporter of the showcase, and they believe in that as well. So that's an effort we've been dealing with as well.
Yes, and initiatives are a big thing, and we talk about like all the Twitter accounts that the teams have to keep everybody appraised of what's happening in the games. We talk about all the volunteers that help with the teams. We talk about the social media aspects of things, and that's the kind of thing that I believe the Major Midget League is getting better at and more involved with at the same time.
And all the teams, you know, one of the things we talked about in our parent meetings was the fact of the social media and doing a better job of updating and keep people in the know. And the other part of that was the live stream. And we talked to all our teams, and we made a commitment this year from the executive that we were hoping to get televised and be live streamed. So listen, if there's a scout looking at Glenn Littlejohn in Shawinigan, he can sit down tonight and look at the schedule of Newfoundland Labrador Major Midget League and say, I want to look at Glenn Littlejohn tonight. He's playing the Central Ice Pack in Lewisport, and the game is being live streamed by Rogers. That's where we need to be, and these people, you never know when they're going to tune in.
No, exactly.
It must be huge with Rogers coming on board and doing tournaments like these, and you guys are keeping up on the Twitter and your website. As I've gone, this is probably one of the first games I've actually been able to go to the website, and I've been able to see all the rosters and all the stats, and you guys just been doing a great job with that. And now that the scouts are able to see the rosters and the players and now the stats, and now it's on Rogers, which is even better.
Even better. And Zach, credit to the teams, people for putting profiles up and promoting players, and the league has been doing a better effort of trying to make sure that the league website is current, that it's not 2 weeks old, it's current, it's happened today, and tomorrow it's up on the site, and people can go in and see it. And we've been profiling players this year, so it's a start. We've got a lot of work to do. We're only in our infancy, but it's a start. And one of the things that we've been asked to do by Hockey Newfoundland and Labrador is to present a 5-year plan. So at the annual meeting coming June, we're hoping to present a 5-year plan and where we see the Newfoundland and Labrador Midget League in 5 years' time. It's been taking a lot of effort and it's taken a lot of work, and we've put a lot of hours into it. Austin Kenny, our vice president, is working to do on a video review system, and to have a video review for our league and for certain instances in games. They've been putting a lot of work in on that. But we're starting. We've made a good start this year. And I think the overall response, Corey, and you being a parent, I think everybody is seeing that we're making the effort. Do we have a lot of work to do yet? Yes, Zach, we have a lot of work to do, but we're getting there.
Right.
Yeah, and it'll take a concerted effort with all parties, parents, the league, Hockey Newfoundland and Labrador, because we do face some difficulties in our league as well, not only from a standpoint of getting known, but also in our own teams. With the distances that people have to travel. For example, everybody knows the story, of course, of the kid from Fogo who's taking the boats in to play for the Central Ice Pack. And the Central Ice Pack bring their teams from Harbour Breton, they bring their teams from Bay Vert, they bring their players from these different areas, and that causes a bit of trouble to get players to actually play for the teams.
And it does, and our team's got to become more professional in that area, Corey. The Western team here, they've got kids who have come into Corner Brook, are being billeted, and they're acting more like a major junior team would be, Zach, where you come in, you live with a billet parent, and you stay and you go to school there, and that's how they're playing hockey. They've got a young kid from the Straits in Labrador. They've got another young kid that's up the Northern Peninsula, St. Anthony, I believe. But our team's got to become more professional, and we've talked to the Central Ice Pack, and that's something they're going to have to consider. If you're going to attract players and you're going to get players to play for you, you're going to have to get into billeting these players and providing them education in the community that you play out of. And if you don't do that, the cost of travel is nearly prohibitive.
And the issue there, of course, is then players actually trying out for the teams and good players that could be playing Major Midget. That are not getting the opportunity because of the logistics involved. And
we know that there's Bantam players here tonight, and in a couple of weeks' time, the Bantam Atlantics are going to be here, and you're going to have these private schools and colleges and down here and trying to recruit our Bantam players. And one of the things we're trying to do, I'm glad to say that I'll be the guest speaker at our Bantam AAA banquet next weekend. And we've got to make those parents, we've got to show those parents that we're making an effort to make the best league possible, and that you don't have to have your kid go to a private school. Now, if you want to, that's fine, but we're going to give your son or daughter the opportunity to play in this league and be seen as much as anywhere else that he can play in Canada, and that's our goal.
Well, Glenn, thank you very much for coming and speaking with us in the next in the 2 periods.
Thank you so much.
Hopefully we'll get a chance to do it again in the near future.
We hope so. Thank you, guys.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
As we get ready, as we take a live shot here from the Glacier Arena in beautiful Mount Pearl in the Major Midget Finals, as both these teams are getting ready for this game.
Just grab that bag.
As Maple Leafs really want to uphold this lead as they're up 3-1, and they have that insurance marker, but they are down on the shots. The shots are currently 21-16. As
sometimes in these particular games, shots are indicative of the play, but I don't think that the shots are indicative of the play in this particular game tonight, Zach. The St. John's Maple Leafs have been full credit for their 3-1 lead, simply because of the power plays that they've had. I would expect in this particular period now you're going to see a lot of Goss brothers, Seymour. You're going to see a lot Antle, Anderson, those players, Thomas, Smith, these are the guys that are going to have to do it for both teams, no matter what.
Third period of action in game number 4 here live from the Glacier. And the Maple Leafs are up 3-1 as we're underway here. As the Leafs will control off the draw, it's Seymour. He fans on the first attempt, and the second whack goes down the length of the ice. Seymour moving it in forward, and Goss will clear it in behind the goal where Park will play it. Kings can control. Played in at the line there by the Leafs, and it's Greenham as it goes out.
I'd like to be a fly on the wall in the second intermission of the Western dressing room. See what was said to the players there between the periods.
And now there's a stoppage in play here.
Yeah, the net was knocked off there by Fisher when he went back and made that save on that last shot that was taken by Western. Just to follow up with Coach Robinson, I know he's a pretty passionate guy, pretty straightforward guy. I'm sure he told them that they had to pick up their play and they had to stay out of the box in that particular period. No doubt that this is what is necessary for those Western players in order to be successful here in the third.
I'd like to thank Glenn, who came in and talked to us in the first intermission and the second intermission. It was a true pleasure to talk to him. We look forward to speaking to him soon, as we'll be here tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. We would hope that he would talk to us then, as Genge flips it in along, and it'll be sent in along for Norman to play it, as they'll start away in the neutral zone into the offensive zone now, and here comes the Kings as they couldn't get a stick on it there. Played in around the boards, and it's sent back to the point. Another long drive that went wide after the tip. One more time, it's Robinson at the point. He takes a bump, and it'll be sent all the way down. Plays called down on the icing.
So in this particular period here, you wonder, Western now, are the Leafs in their head? They went 30-2, had the best record in the league. No doubt that they were the class of the league all year. And they lost 2 games, one to the St. John's Maple Leafs and again one to the East Coast Blizzard. 30 wins is a great season, but doesn't mean anything if they can't be successful here in the final.
That's exactly right there, Corey, as the puck is flipped in, and Duty plays it in forward now. They're moving it ahead. It's Brandon Knight. Knight moving in with a long drive, and that one went up and off the glass. One more time, it's Duty playing the puck in forward, and it's intercepted there by the Kings as they're moving it in. And now here comes Campbell as he's moving it in. Leafs will start away with it in their own zone. They'll try to flip it in and forward, and Thomas will flip it to the other side of the goal. Zach Power and Corey D'Entremont up here in the broadcast booth. 18:03 left to go in period number 3. You're watching the Rogers TV Minor Hockey Midget showcase here. As
this is a showcase in the talent level out there for Major Midget here in Newfoundland and Labrador, without a doubt. I mean, if you're not here watching the game live, I hope you're watching at home. If you're not watching at home and not here, you should be.
As you can see our games as we're broadcasting live on YouTube and our website, www.rogerstv.com. And now there's a puck battle there, a foot race, as Greenham will collect it and he'll send it down the length of the ice. And this is going to be another icing, as we've seen a lot of icing so far throughout this third period. The dump and chase strategy, and the Leafs are just trying to kill time.
The Leafs are definitely just trying to make sure that the Western doesn't have an opportunity to get any flow on the go here. They have to be wary of Western coming hard at them, for sure, in this particular third period.
Thomas is in the draw for Western, as the Kings will hope to win it in the offensive zone. They lead in the shots 21-16, as it's won there by the Kings, but it won't be collected at the line, as it'll go right down the length of the ice. Thomas trying to play it in forward. He has the battle with Seymour, and now Smith and Ward will dump it down the length of the ice. The dump and chase strategy is well evident here, as it's flipped in along, and Leafs are caught on a change, but coming away with it is Goss, and he'll flip it down.
Yeah, that was almost a too many men on the ice there by the Leafs. Luckily, the guy that stepped on the ice didn't play the puck, or that definitely would have been a penalty.
Robinson trying to play it. moved in forward, but it's intercepted there by McCarthy, and now French will pick it up. French moving it along to French, that is, and it's cleared down where Fisher will snag it on the glove. The 3-1 hockey game here. In game number 4, the Leafs lead the series 2-1, and if they win here, they will get a 3-1 series lead. This will go right down, and it'll be smothered at the last moment.
See a lot of dump and chase hockey. Dump and chase hockey works on a defensive level because if the team is not getting involved in the play, Western is not getting involved in getting the puck, and always has to come 200 feet, then it becomes a real time-consuming thing for them, is getting that puck down the ice to get set up in the offensive zone.
Kings win the draw, French loses it, and it'll be stopped there at the point by Norman as he'll flip it in, and Park is out to play it. Kings controlling, starting away in their own zone as they're moving it in and forward. As I feel like the puck possession has gone a little bit more to the Leafs through this game, but they don't have the shots to show for it.
No, it's the Leafs are doing a good job of playing defensive hockey at the moment, just bottling up Western, keeping the puck away from them to get, again, like we said before, the opportunity to get through the neutral zone quickly just isn't there for Western at the moment.
Kings controlling, coming in with a long drive. That one went up off the stick and into the netting.
So for you people at home, if you watch and see what the Leafs are doing, I mean, they're just basically playing a five-man box, five-man zone. Okay, man on man, just trying to limit the chances of the Western Kings getting pucks to the net and to Michael Fisher.
Off the draw, it's one there as the Kings will try to clear it at the point, and that was unsuccessful. Now the Kings at the half wall. Moving it around is Parsons as he goes to his knees, and he gets pushed there, and now there's going to be a call. A little get together after the whistle too.
It's Penley here again on Western. They're getting a hooking call from the looks.
And Western's going to the box again where they've made themselves a little home in this hockey game.
Well, again, I know it's a penalty against Western, but momentum and play back and forth between both teams has to happen. I mean, there's calls that could be made on every play. Sometimes you make them, sometimes you don't. If it's a play that interrupts a scoring chance, or if it's a play that's dangerous to a player, then yes, you should call it. But I mean, if it's something that's a little bit closer and doesn't really take away an opportunity, then sometimes you probably should let that go and let the teams decide things. Not that it gets out of hand, mind you.
Campbell is going to serve for 2 minutes or less, as it will be sent in along and it will be played off the side of the goal, where Fisher will play it out for Greenham.
The fans are screaming there because Tomlin took a slash to the hands, and there's no call from the referee.
Referees have been pretty good this game, and they've been on top of things so far, and we've seen a lot of penalties and a lot of good hockey plays so far. Leafs trying to gain control, and they weren't able to get a good stick on it now as they're on the power play opportunity for another minute. At the point now, they're waiting for it. Now it's Greenham. Trying to get it on goal. That one went off the pad, and now one more time it's collected there by the Kings as they're stepping it in through. And here are the Kings as they're stepping it in. They're trying to get it as Ward. He can't get that one on goal.
Western's killing penalties, but they're going to have to take their opportunities when they can. 14 minutes left in this game, and they're going to have to press.
We're going to start seeing them get a little hungry now, as they're down by 2 goals, and the Leafs have that insurance marker. French playing it along, and it'll be sent down. Norman will start in behind his own goal. He's been playing well so far throughout this game on the defensive end of things. And now here comes Henley. Henley putting on the brakes now, a long wrister that never came close to getting on goal, and now it's French. French one more time and circles it on goal, and oh, that one got tipped up in front. And that was a good opportunity to score. And it's Henley, and that one's called down, and now there's going to be
it's a head contact penalty coming up here, I do believe, against the Leafs. Is that Alex French going off for a head contact penalty? Be interesting to see if this is a 2 minutes or 4 minutes. 2-minute call it is. So it's a head contact. Well, Western Kings did a good job of killing that penalty. And we're back to the same story again. Here's a big kill. And now we go to the power play. And you really need this power play to click for you. 13 minutes and 24 seconds left in the game. And this is big for the Western Kings.
Christopher Thomas just left the ice there.
Yeah, that comes from the slash that he took there just about a minute or so earlier.
As they're moving it in. With this rink, you have to wait for a stoppage in play unless it's an emergency, really, to get across to the dressing room, or unless you want to go all the way down the rink. Knight couldn't get a stick. Shoots! And that one got gloved down there by Fisher. And a great glove through traffic.
Eric Benda is going to be happy with that save. It's exactly how he taught him to make that, to track that, and right to his glove, eyeball it right in there. And he did a fabulous job of doing that.
12:31 left to go in this contest unless overtime is necessary. As Genj will start away on our Rogers TV Minor Hockey Showcase. Here is, we see the AAA minor midgets playing. Here comes
Major midgets.
Major midgets, yes. Kings starting away in their own zone. They're going to go right up through center. Cormick playing it in and along and trying to spear for the Kings, and Goss will clear it down the length of the ice. Good play there by Jonathan Anderson to try to poke that one in on goal.
That's nice.
Anderson couldn't get a stick on it, and that will go down.
Well, it's 25 seconds left in the power play. The Kings really haven't had an opportunity to set up. And when they do get into the zone, the pressure on the wall is just a little bit too much for them to overcome. Basically, they have to be able to get down there, set up, get that one-time shot through, and get the rebounds. But it's not happening for them at this time.
Kings controlling off the face-off now as they're moving it in forward. Robinson dumping it in cross ice. Parsons at the plate for the Leafs. Robinson controlling at the point, and French delivers a cross check, no call there. Alex French, and that will be dumped down the length of the ice. 3 seconds and 2 left on the power play, and now we're down to even strength. Kings in their own zone, flipping it in forward. Anto couldn't get a full stick on it, and it'll be cleared down for Fisher to play it. Leafs in the defensive zone, they're moving it in. Osmond's going to move it forward, and French will get a stick on it to knock it down. Knight trying to move it in forward. Alex French is going to play it in along. 10:50 left to go in period number 3. And now it's Campbell as he'll move it in for Langdon, and he'll clear it down for the Leafs defense to pick it up.
It's a little bit of frustration here now for the Western Kings. A lot of times when they go off the ice, they're banging their sticks, banging the boards, and they just can't do that. They have to concentrate on these 10 minutes to get back in this game.
Henley one more time. Almost loses it there as he'll send it in and forward, and now here comes Martel. Chris Martel. Martel moving in and trying to get it to the other side of the goal, but that was unavailable. Here comes the Kings as they're moving it in, but that will be sent right down to the neutral zone. Parsons knocking it forward, and now here comes the Kings as Brandon Knight's heavily pressured. And Knight will spear it along for Martel. Martel in behind the goal, it's Greenham. The assistant captain. And now it's Robinson. Knight trying to move it in forward, and he'll get a stick on it. It'll be played around, and now here comes the Kings as they'll dump it in and along. And the Leafs will have to start away in their own zone as they'll flip it in forward, and now a foot race to it, and the Kings will get first in the defensive zone. Robinson dumping it way down, and that will be stopped there on the glove and a little aftermath. as they get together in front of the crease.
You know, Western Kings, the puck is ahead of everybody. It just seems like right now that the puck is ahead and everybody's trailing behind. It's something that they want to be successful, they just can't do that. They need to come into the zone. 3 guys heavy every time and get to the net and get pressure to the front. Because if they have just them type, those guys coming, just one and everybody following behind, they're not going to be successful here at all.
Controlled by the Leafs off the draw. It's Norman. He'll whip it around the boards for Brothers, who hasn't had a lot of ice time or puck possession. And the play is called down.
One of the other things, too, that I would say if I was Coach Robinson is that these guys, again, you finished 30-2 in the regular season. You did it all year. Now it's time to show that you can do it again. And this is where you make your money. This is where the pressure is. You guys have to come through. It's time to start playing.
The Maple Leafs will take a 3-1 series lead where they can win all the marbles tomorrow at 10 a.m. on Sunday morning. We'll have that on Rogers TV. But if the Kings come away with 2 or 3 goals here to get the W, we'll have Game 6 from Corner Brook and Game 7 also in Corner Brook if necessary. Seymour playing it in forward. Osmond couldn't collect a stick on it as it went through his skates. Anto one more time, spinning it back to his defensive partner. And Anderson will pick it up in the neutral zone, trying to spring Anto. But he couldn't get a full stick on it, and now Goss. These hard and saucer passes aren't always successful, I find, as a lot of times they can't get a full stick on it.
Well, sometimes Goss thinks a little bit ahead of his players, too. You have to remember, at the beginning of this year, Nick Goss was in the queue, and he was playing for Rimouski Oceanic. And this is where he started the year, and then he was released by the Oceanic at the beginning and came back and was drafted by the Leafs. Good luck on the Maple Leafs for getting him, but that's where he started. So his quality of hockey sometimes might be a little bit ahead. He might be thinking 5 or 6 steps ahead of the players on the ice.
He's really had a great performance out there in his time in the queue. I know I've seen him play a few times, even in this league here. And he's just been phenomenal, and the Leafs really got a great steal when they picked him up. Martel got one up high, and he slams his stick to the ground. As you know, that one stung a bit. Parsons clears in and along. He'll be played along for Duty to play it. Forward for Martel. And they're trying to start away, but it's intercepted there by the Kings. They're trying to step in with a drive, and that one went wide of the goal. The rebound! And down is Fisher, and he will smother it as it was played into the crease.
The puck was loose there again in the crease. Kind of came out behind Fisher into the front of the crease, but the referee lost sight of it and whistled it down. Fisher made a great save there, putting his hand back to grab that puck. You see here on the replay. Puck saved right here, bounces off the wall. He reaches back, makes the save, then it kind of squirts under him, but referee had already blown the whistle.
I'd like to remind you, if you're watching this on St. Patrick's Day, to be sure to have a designated driver if you do decide to drink, as we've seen a lot of terrible things go on, and we would please advise you to not drive drunk. Campbell moving it along for the Kings. French trying to play it, and Campbell will play it one more time. Into the corner, it's played where Flynn and now French will play it. Shots are 25-19 in favor of the Western Kings as French will move it in and along. Out to play it is Park as he almost lost it there, and that could have been disastrous. And Osmond will try to dump it down. Kings controlling, as they only have less than 7 minutes to get a few goals here, and Seymour will rip one that went onto the glass. And it only takes a second to score here, as it's still anybody's game.
Well, the next goal is going to be critical. If it's a Leaf goal, then you can pretty much put a knife in this thing. But if it's a Western goal, then it's going to be a opportunity for them to come back.
Western has 5 more shots than the Leafs, as it's 25-20. As they'll cover for a face-off there, Park. And like you said, this is really going to be a crucial time to get a goal.
Lucas makes the save there. It's not a clean save, but he does manage to grab it you have to be careful of those things because if they bounce out in front, the Leafs are always sniffing around the net and they're always going to be able to bang those pucks in.
Leafs playing it out and long, and the Kings will start away. Goss trying to move it in forward. See, he jostles with his man. And it'll be played along for Anderson, but that one goes way up. And now there's a stoppage in play.
Coincidental penalties coming up here now. Not sure who's getting calls.
Referee wants 2.
Anderson for Western.
That's the only... I don't see any players from the Leafs going.
We got a rough here on Anderson. And slashing call here as well on the Leafs. That's Paul Norman.
Norman taking the second penalty of the game.
Time is becoming the enemy now here for Western Kings, more so than the St. John's Maple Leafs. They really need to step it up here.
Still 5-on-5 action here as it's played in along. And the Leafs trying to move it in forward. And so are the Kings as Entel's pushing his man into the boards. Knight is in there for the Leafs. Entel trying to come away with it. Couldn't get a full stick on it, and it'll be sent in along. Knight moving it along, and the long flip pass will go down. Martel kicking it out of the blue line, and it'll be played in the neutral zone by the Kings as they'll have to start away in their own zone. It's Smith. Here comes Smith as he's moving it in. Smith trying to play it. Anto one more time. Genge at the point, trying to tip it out in front. There is Anto, but that one never had much of a chance of going on goal. Genge from his knees, and that one is called on a hand pass.
So, you're the leading scorer in the league. You scored 57 points in the league, and you're here 3-1. How do you get your team over that hump? MVP of the league as well as Andrew Antle. He really needs to get his play going in the right direction. He needs to differentiate himself from the other guys that are out there in order to get Western that goal to get close.
As that leading goal scorer, you really need to be that motivator to, and it is a team sport, as taking a dive there is French as he lost his stick. But like I said, it is that motivation, and it is a team game. You can't just do it all yourself. And you really need to step up and get a few goals for your team here as you're moving along. Parsons playing it. French trying to move it in forward, and now it's Nick getting it from brother Alex. Parsons starting at the blue line, and he'll clear it out, and the Leafs are just killing time here. 4:30 left to go in period number 3. Shots are 25-20 in favor of the Western Kings. And it's a 3-1 lead for the Leafs.
Nice.
Now, a big save there by Park as the play just came in and forward.
That was a nice save by Lucas. Keep this thing still 3-1. Goss went in there with speed. If you're watching at home again and you're looking at Western, not really liking what I'm seeing out there right now. You got one guy up high, 2 guys in the middle of the ice, almost next to their defenseman. They really need to start pushing forward. Really need to start going in the offensive zone direction as hard as they possibly can with 4 minutes and 15 seconds left in this game.
Seymour and forward. Another drive there by Goss, and that one running off the side of the goal, and that will be smothered.
Breakdowns in your own zone, in the defense's end. I mean, you can't have that at this particular time. There's no way that that's going to be good for Western. The puck was just bouncing around there. Everybody was sort of letting it bounce around, and at least got the puck on their stick and got another shot onto Park.
The Leafs had a phenomenal tournament as they went against the Blizzard, and the Western Kings also went against Tri-Pen there. As now they're both to this final state where both these teams have just been playing phenomenal. Kings controlling in their own zone. Campbell moving it in forward and splicing it ahead for Langdon. Langdon dumping it in for Campbell to play it. Campbell's pinned up against the boards. Knight's in to play it for the Leafs. And Knight will move it in forward. Oak from the point. Oak spinning it in forward. Or Campbell will play it. Sent back to the point. Now another drive. Now one tipped out for the rebound. Oh my goodness. And what an opportunity as Fisher was down on his stomach there for a second. And the play is called down on an icing.
Well, that's what the Western Kings have to do. That is what was going to be the difference. If you can get pucks to the net and get odd man situations down low, you're going to score goals. That time they had the odd man situation down low. That time they were successful getting pucks to Fisher and get that rebound. Drew Langdon was tied up a little bit and just couldn't finish.
What an opportunity as you look at the replay there. Fisher was down and out. Robinson trying to spin it out in front for Antle, but he went right down to the ice.
Yeah, Antle took a nice shot there, actually.
Gosh trying to move it in forward for the Leafs and coming away with it out of the Kings, but it's intercepted one more time. Flipped in the head.
Looks like the referees are letting them play at this point.
Things are starting to get physical as the Kings are starting to get hungry. And they know that they're down by 2 and they'll go into this game now tomorrow morning with 3-1 deficit.
There's a penalty here on Seymour, a holding penalty. Now, if you're Coach Robinson, you have 2 minutes and 41 seconds left. You have your goalie and you're down by 3-1. Do you take him out and go for a 6-on-4 power play opportunity, or do you wait and see what happens?
As you take a look at Seymour going to the box in the replay.
You can see the hole. That's a good WWE move right there by Regan Seymour. Could have pinned him for the 3 count there, I'm pretty sure.
Nice little body slam there.
7-9 now. See if Lucas Park's going to be coming out of the net.
That would give the Kings a 6-on-4 situation with 2:30 left to go in the third. Back to the point now, and that one got tipped up in front. And the Leafs are trying to play it as Norman. Norman moving around, and still in his net is Park, and things are starting to get a little eerie here. Here comes Osmond. Moving it in forward for McCarthy. He'll dump and chase it in, and Park will let that play on.
See, as Western let them come through the neutral zone. They should have tried to take him up higher, but they didn't, and let him get the zone and put it in. Lucas looking to his net now for his coach to see if he's going to be taken out. A minute 10 seconds left in the power play here.
I seen Park come out with a little skate, and
he's looking.
He's got his glove up in the air, and he wants to go. Meanwhile, at center ice, it's flipped in there by the Kings, and they're looking for a good opportunity to get set up. Leafs playing it around now, go all the way down the length of the ice. Park giving out marching orders as they're moving in and forward. Now are the Kings. And it'll be sent in and will be whipped all the way down for Parsons to play it with 1:12 left to go in the third period, 30 seconds left to go in this power play opportunity.
6-on-4, Lucas is out of his net.
French has it, he's trying to put the final nail in the coffin. Oh, and it rang off the post. My goodness, what an opportunity. In less than a minute now, 55 seconds as the Kings are trying to move it in. Reminder that will be on 10 a.m. tomorrow morning. Here live from the Glacier. McCarthy trying to play it. He's pinned up with a group of 2 or 3 men. That's Robinson is in there. As play is called down.
Penalty now to Western Kings. 9 Reds getting called for a head contact penalty. 37.8 seconds left. That'll kind of seal the deal here in this particular game. There's a 4-minute call as well. That will kind of take care of the game tonight for sure.
So unless 2 goals are scored here in the next 37.8 seconds, we're going to see the Maple Leafs come out on top of this one with a 3-1 lead in the series and a 3-1 final score here, as we'll be live for Game 4, where the Leafs can take all the marbles. We'll be here on Rogers TV, and you can view that one on our YouTube channel and at www.rogerstv.com.
What happened is a penalty out of frustration, I believe. Lucas Robinson's a pretty passionate player. He probably was just not happy with how the game went and just reacted to that.
Long pass, it's Brothers. Brothers moving in and a shot. Oh, and it just went up off his shoulder. My goodness, and now there's going to be another penalty here. And now there's a little get together, as this is more about the next game than it is this game. My goodness.
That shot there by Braden Ryan. Braden was the leading penalty getter in the league this year, so to take that particular shot at the end of the game is probably not a smart thing.
Now the trainer's walking onto this, and everybody's starting to yell and send out their chirps both ways. Both are unhappy with the other team. And both teams barking back and forth rather at each other.
Lots of talk here between the benches as well.
16 Red got 2 for Slash. And now Red's also going to go for head. So now there's going to be a...
Well, the game will finish 5-on-3. 6.7 seconds left in the game. The referees are just trying to put the lid on it so that it doesn't get out of hand too much here. Lots of shouting, lots of cursing between the benches here. But I think the referees are trying to get these guys back on the bench so they can get the 6.7 seconds left that's left on the clock played out and move on to tomorrow.
Tomorrow now for the Kings, you got to look out because the Leafs have won 3 straight games. They got the momentum, and this dirty hit might be the start of the next game.
Well, if it goes, if it gets out of hand here now, well, no, they'll just skate it out and have it over with. Here you go.
That's the end of the game. The Leafs take a 3-1 series lead. As they'll all go and congratulate their goaltender on a fantastic game where Fisher played absolutely phenomenal to end off this game.
He did. He played an extremely great game. Luckily for the Maple Leafs as well, because Fisher was the only goalie on that they had today. Curtis was in the warm-up, but he couldn't finish the game because he wasn't feeling well. So
French is going to go off slowly here.
He's not moving very quickly.
He's at center ice, and he's just barely getting off the ice.
The following program is brought to you by Rogers Anyplace TV. Enjoy exclusive content for free. Visit RogersAnyplaceTV.com.
Well, I mean, Western Kings came into this game knowing that it was a big one. They knew it, but so did the St. John's Maple Leafs. Full credit for St. John's Maple Leafs to win this game. They came out, not because they, but they just played a better team game at the end of the day than the Western Kings did.
So I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in to our Rogers TV special presentation of the Kings and the Leafs. Corey D'Entremont up here with me, who did a fantastic job doing color, and myself up here, Zach Power, and all these camera crew and these volunteers. I'd like to thank you so much for tuning in, and for one final time, good night, and thank you so much for tuning in.
Good night.
I've been lonesome, I've been empty, I got an aching way down inside. I need someone to hold me. Pull down the shade, turn out the light, and love me tonight. Don't think about tomorrow, it don't matter anymore. We can turn the key and lock the world outside the door. I need you so now, come on, let go now. Kick off your shoes, turn out the light, and love me tonight. Now don't you worry, we're all alone now. Let your hair down, sit by my side, turn off the TV, put on some music, pull down the shade, turn out the light, and love me tonight. Don't think
Cannot beat it. It is the best thing to add to your garden, bar none.
Wind energy is not only great environmentally, but it's also good for our pocketbooks.
Way to make a positive difference in the environment for your community. You're watching Rogers TV, St. John's.
You know what I like? Keeping backs safe. Mine and my team's. And the best way to protect backs is to know how. Like when something's too heavy to be lifted by one person. Bring in that forklift!